Hey, this is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com. This is Wednesday, August 29th. We had another slow kind of trading range day today. We did have a nice little move up that started mid-morning. It lasted till early afternoon. It wasn't nothing moved fast. The actual moves would happen rather quickly, and then we would spend the rest of the time in these little ranges. And really all it was a move from the low of the range to the top of the range, and now we're headed back down again here at the right in the late afternoon. The close was right down through. You may not be able to see that, I don't know. But let me spread this out and we'll talk about the trades. There's only a handful today, not much going on. But we had these highs right across here. They were from the overnight, and we tested that. This is a first entry long, second entry long that quickly failed in reverse. So this was a nice trap, and you got to be thinking that we're coming back down here to the lows. We didn't go as far as I thought we would before we pulled back, but all the same, it was an easy scalp. Hopefully you got that trade. And then we had a little two-legged correction that made a double top, and it's really a lower high than these other two lows. And we tried to go higher and failed, so we had another trap, and it's really similar to this setup. But another fairly easy scalp, and this time we did go all the way down to test the lows and make a new low. So now we're down here testing lows. There was actually a long right here if you took it, and as long as you kept your stop down here below this low, which is what you're supposed to do, it was okay. But it was better because of all this overlap to wait. And then by the time you got your second entry long, look, there's a lot of overlap again. And so there really wasn't a good setup. And notice too, this is a first entry short, and then we went up, and then we had a second entry short that failed, and then that's where your long was. You didn't want to go short here because it's too close to these lows and we've got a failed break lower here. So one trader sent me actually I had a couple of different questions today about two-legged pullbacks to the EMA, and my only guess is I know one of them was talking about this, and I'm assuming the second trader that asked was talking about the same setup. But there's no reason to go short here. There's actually a couple of reasons you wouldn't want to go short here, and you had to wait for a trap before you went long, which was right here. Notice that we had the first entry short. We got a new low, so first entry short, pull back, and then there's your second entry short. And but look at all the overlap, first of all. Secondly, we're right down here at these lows where we've got a failed break, and you know what happens there. People get trapped there. So that's a good reason not to be going short. Yes, it is a two-legged pullback to the EMA, but generally those are only good in a trending market, and this is not a trending market. Even though we've been working down, you ought to be able to look at that and tell that this is a trading range, and we're testing the lows of the range. And that's what we did right here. And so you don't want to be going short there, and you got to be really careful about going long till you get some kind of trap. And when you had this failed second entry short, that fooled all the weak traders, and then it was a nice run up. So this was one of the better entries of the day right here, and this got you long into this huge move up. Any runners were easily safe. If you missed it, you had another two-legged pullback here. Now, again, this is getting high, close to these highs here, but there's enough room to scalp out before getting here, and this is a really bullish move, so you got to figure you're probably going to get a second leg. And if you measure this, I believe we got a perfect measured leg, if I'm not mistaken. You see that? That's basically a perfect measured leg. There's leg one, and there's leg two. So we might have missed it by a tick or so, but that's close enough. And then again, these were your highs. We had this double top from yesterday right across here. And if you put your line there and come across, you see that was these highs right here. And this is just a failed break higher. And so that's worth taking short right there. Anytime you get a congestion that's way away from the EMA and prices push on and they get even further away, generally you're going to have a snap back after that to the EMA, and that's what you had right there. So this was a good trade here. It's a failed break above this double top from over here. And but by that time, you know, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. This was not a good setup here because of all the overlapping bars. It would have worked if you took it and you got one leg down. You figure you're probably going to get another, and that's what you got. And then by this time it's really too late. So, and that's really all there was today. It's going to be another short chart lesson today. But that's really all we had going on. So there just wasn't a lot of volume today. Again, you can see there's not a lot of bars. Here's the open from the overnight, and here's the close. So, you know, there's not a whole lot of bars in there. And, you know, anytime you've got a range day, remember the rules. You fade every new low down here and fade every new high up here. And so you could have faded this new high, but it really never set up. This actually was a new high for the day, and you could have faded it, but it really didn't set up very good. You got to be looking for a measured move, and we didn't have that, and yet we hadn't tested this high yet either. So you got to figure we're going, that being that close, we're either going to test that high or at least pull back to the EMA. And so this is not really a great setup. You're better off. What'll usually happen is this congestion that forms way away from the EMA, prices will break above it first if it's going to be a good short or a good pullback. In other words, if you're counter trend trading, you don't want to be counter trend trading too close to the EMA. You want to get a chance to enter way away like so at a strong resistance or support area, and of course this is a strong resistance area across here. So that's why that made that a little better setup. But I know that there were several traders that got short right here and got trapped, and there were a couple that tried to get long right here and got trapped. But generally you're better off to wait on a second entry. So when you're making a new low, if you're not just buying it blindly, then wait on the right setup. And you never got a good setup until right here because there's just too many overlapping bars and so forth. Now if you went long right here, you still should have been okay because your stop should have been down here, and if it was, you were okay. And this is a good low because this is a new low, and we've run all the stops down here, and they've trapped a lot of people short. Guaranteed there were a bunch of people that got short right here on this break, and it really, because that looks really bearish coming down through there. So I actually got long down here and exited right here, and I let them fool me, but I got back in here. But I really was long from down. Actually, I was long from right down here, one tick off of this low. I bought that blindly, and lately I haven't been very good at determining. And that's the thing, you almost can't determine when it's going to break higher and when it's going to turn lower. I mean, we could have turned lower here. It's the odds are not good that you're going to turn lower here, but we could have. So what you need to do is always hold on to your runners, and I should have held my runners here and didn't. And anyway, it cost me having a runner to take this, and I had to re-enter here and get a worse entry. But I would rather come back and re-enter than give my money back. And so you should have heard me say that many times before, is that you're better off if you're not sure what's going on or what's about to happen, just exit, take whatever the market's giving you, and wait on another entry. And yeah, sometimes you'll exit just before prices do something like this, but better that than to get short right here and then not exit when you get this next little doji than to stay short and let that go against you. So does that make sense? Hopefully so. You got a two-legged pullback. If you got trapped short here and prices suddenly the next bar make this bar and don't go any lower, make a high, really that's a higher low, and then we start trying to work higher again, you're better off just to exit this short and not hang on, because if you don't exit, this is what can happen to you. And so, you know, when you got a chance for prices to come back down here, take a tick or give up a tick or two, because that's much better than giving up a point or two. And then you could have actually exited long here or looked for a long right here and made it all back plus some. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.